Everyone saw the rating, and instantly some people lost their heads because in eFootball, once you see a fullback with crazy pace, your brain just switches off and goes, yeah, this is meta, I need this.
Bruh.
But this is exactly how Konami gets people, because this card looks insane at first glance, it really does. 101 speed, 100 stamina, 94 acceleration. Like, come on. That already sounds like the perfect modern fullback, the kind of player that can chase any winger, recover any mistake, and just lock down the entire flank. And that's why so many people are tempted to spin, because pace is one of the most noticeable stats in the game. You feel it immediately the moment you start running with him. You're like, yeah, this guy is different. But here's the problem, and this is where everything starts to fall apart. Speed is not defending, and a lot of people don't understand that until it's too late. Because when you actually look deeper into his stats, not just the flashy ones, you start noticing things that don't match that 104 rating at all. 88 tackling, 85 defensive engagement, and for a top-tier fullback in this meta, that is just not it. Because you're going up against wingers with insane dribbling, insane tight possession, insane acceleration, and what you're relying on to stop them is not strong enough. So what happens in-game is very simple. Balde runs, he catches up, but when it's time to actually win the ball, he doesn't dominate. He doesn't impose himself, he just kind of challenges, and against good players, that's not enough. Because good players don't panic. They keep the ball, they turn, they exploit that moment, and suddenly your fast fullback is just chasing shadows. And that's the biggest issue with this card. He gives you the illusion of control without actually giving you control. You feel safe because he's fast, but you're not actually defending well. You're just reacting, and reacting is always weaker than controlling. And then we have to talk about the most confusing part of this entire card. Because honestly, this is where Konami just did something that makes no sense at all. They gave him edged crossing, and when people saw that, they got even more excited, because edged crossing is one of those skills that can actually change games. It makes your crosses sharper, more dangerous, harder to defend. But here's the thing. Skills don't exist in isolation. They depend on the player's base stats, and when you look at Balde's passing, 83 low pass, 81 lofted pass, you start asking yourself, why? Like genuinely, why would you give edged crossing to a player who doesn't even have strong passing to begin with? Because that skill is supposed to enhance already good crossing, not fix bad crossing. And this is where the disappointment really hits in gameplay. Because you'll make those overlapping runs, you'll get into good positions, you'll try to deliver that perfect cross, and instead of something dangerous, it's inconsistent. And you start realizing that the skill is there, but the foundation isn't. And without the foundation, the skill loses its value. It becomes more of a marketing tool than an actual gameplay advantage. And this is where the card starts to feel like a trap, because everything about it is designed to look appealing, but not necessarily perform at the highest level. And then you factor in his playstyle, offensive fullback, which means he's constantly pushing forward, constantly joining attacks, constantly leaving space behind, and normally that's fine if the player is defensively strong enough to recover and shut things down quickly. But Balde doesn't have that defensive dominance, so what happens is, you push forward, you lose the ball, your opponent counters, and now you're relying on his speed to recover, but when he gets back, he still has to defend. And that's where the weakness shows again, because he's not the kind of fullback that wins the duel instantly. He's the kind that delays it, and delaying is dangerous against good players, because they will exploit the gap, and suddenly you're conceding goals from the same side over and over again.